Hello, Pokemon trading card game fans. Welcome to my Let's Play of the Pokemon Trading Card Simulator on PokemonTCG.com. You guys can log on to there and make an account only with an email address, and that's all you need, and start trading and training yourself. I'm kidding. There's no trading yet, but it looks as though they're looking to make that website have the feature of trading. So on the last episode, we versed Zach, and this episode we're going to verse Mick. And Mick prefers Fire-type Pokemon. The deck that I'm going to continue using, and I'm going to use this deck again, even though I do have the option to switch out decks to a base Water deck, or others, which I'll get into later. But the reason I'm doing that is for a bit of a challenge, and I've faced this guy before, you know, I've confirmed beat him. He's not too difficult, so fighting him with Grass deck versing Fire should be interesting. I'm going to rely mainly on my Psychic type here. Almost went and called Venipede the Poison type, but that's a difference that a lot of people who are coming over to these videos just to see what other stuff I'm doing besides video games may be curious about. You'll note that, unlike the Pokemon video game, there are a lot less types. There are Psychic types, Fighting types, Grass types, Electric types, Water types, Fire types, Steel types, and Dark types. No Ground, no Rock, no Poison, there's no Bug type even, and all those, there's no Flying type either, now that I think of it, and all those other types of Pokemon that we've known in the video games have to fall into the different types that are the ones I mentioned before. And they can vary. There are certain card series, like the Delta series that I did an unboxing booster pack of, that will actually have alternative types, like Elekid normally would be Electric, right? Has Fighting type. And Nidoran being a Steel type. That's something special in the Delta series, but for the most part, anybody who's just witnessing this and saying, well, this is different from the Pokemon game, it really is. And the fact that there's a limited amount of types really changes that, because you have to take note of the card's weaknesses and retreat costs, which you can see near the bottom of the card when it comes up. Rattata right there, you'll see a Fighting type symbol times 2. And that means your attack, if it's damaged by a Fighting type Pokemon, is multiplied by 2. So it does double damage, which is drastically dangerous on such a low HP Pokemon. But there are other cards in combination with the types that you have to keep in mind. There are cards like trainer cards, which change up the game considerably and allow you to do things like draw other cards, such as evolutionary cards that you need. You know, that's a big thing in the trading card game that you don't really have to consider when you're playing the main video game series, the main RPG series, is that your Pokemon are not fully trained when you have them in your hand. You have to set them up on the field, and you have to have it so, with timing and the proper amount of hand draws from your deck, or trainer cards that allow you to get what you need, you're going to be able to set up that Pokemon to evolve and take down your opponent. Now, in the last match, you saw me fail to find my superior with a trainer card, and that was just a base thing of luck. I mean, the only thing I could have done there was, if I had the option to edit my deck, was add another superior card and take out one of my others. Decks range to 60 cards, and I believe that's all they range to. I don't think there's really any negotiation on that. There's just 60 cards to a deck. And 6 cards, you start out drawing 6 cards in your hand. You can have up to 5 Pokemon on the bench, 1 Pokemon out as your active Pokemon. And if your active is knocked out without any being benched, what happens then is an auto loss. So you want to make sure that at least one Pokemon is on your bench. This way, if your Pokemon that is in active duty out on the center of the field is knocked out, it won't be the end of the match for you. Now, the way that you end a match properly without having your Pokemon taken down by the fact you don't have anyone benched is that you keep drawing the prize cards, which are over to the left side of the field. And you can see I've only got 2 more prize cards left at this point, and I'm mopping up his team handily. And that is thanks to the evolutionary fact of my Whirlipede. If this match had gone a little bit different, and I was not able to get out my Whirlipede, see now Venipede can still stand in place being a Psychic type, doesn't get the weakness like my Grass type do of fire damage, and still enough to knock him out and get 1 more prize card. So you can tell this match is in the bag. And you can find up in the top hand corner our opponent shamelessly facepalming. Or shamefully facepalming. So this match is in the bag. And the deck that I'm using is actually special because it's part of their promotional Black and White series theme decks, that if you get the Red Frenzy, Green Tornado, or whatever the Samurott deck is, you can scan them into the Pokemon Simulator via an AR card or code and use them during this challenge, other than just the 3 base set decks that they give you. Thankfully, they made it very open by putting those base decks in as an option, so people didn't have to be forced to go out and purchase these new Black and White theme decks, even if they didn't want to. Of course, I wanted to, and I did an unboxing for you guys, so it was all worth it. But I do recommend you check out the simulator. The decks that they give you, all the theme decks actually work pretty sufficiently well. And I found even have certain strategies with others. For example, the water deck I found has great evolutionary superiority over others with the evolution of Eevee into Vaporeon. Got a lot of speed with that deck.